I always believed our love story was one for the ages. Cole and I met in college, two souls who just clicked. He was the steady rock to my creative, sometimes chaotic, spirit. For 12 years he was my everything, my best friend, my confidant, my partner in every sense of the word. We built a life together, a beautiful home, a circle of friends who felt like family. I trusted him with my whole heart, more than anyone else in the world. That's why what I found shattered not just my heart, but my entire reality. It started subtly. A shift in his routine, a new password on his phone he claimed was for work security. Late nights at the office became more frequent, and the way he looked at me, it changed. The warmth was replaced by a distant politeness. I tried to talk to him, asking if he was stressed, if something was wrong at work, if something was wrong with us. He'd always brush it off with a kiss on the forehead and a tired, "Everything's fine, babe," just swamped. I wanted to believe him. I really did. But a knot of anxiety was tightening in my stomach, a persistent whisper telling me something was terribly wrong. The doubt was like a poison, seeping into every corner of our life. I started questioning everything. Was I not enough? Was I boring? I found myself replaying our conversations, analyzing his every move. I hated the person I was becoming, suspicious, insecure, constantly on edge. My friends told me I was probably overthinking it, that all long-term couples go through phases. But my intuition, that deep-seated gut feeling, was screaming at me. One Tuesday, he called to say he was working late again, a big project deadline. I remember feeling a wave of disappointment, but I pushed it down and said, "Okay, honey. Don't work too hard." A few hours later, our friend Mia called, her voice full of excitement. She was at a new downtown restaurant for a client dinner and was raving about the food. Then she said something that made my blood run cold. "You'll never guess who I just saw here." "Cole." I waved, but he didn't see me. He was with a woman, a blonde. Must be his new colleague, he mentioned. He hadn't mentioned a new colleague to me. My hands started shaking. I hung up the phone, my mind racing. A colleague? Or something more? The excuse was plausible, but it didn't feel right. The image of him at a fancy restaurant with another woman, while I sat at home eating leftovers, was a knife to the gut. I knew I couldn't live with the uncertainty anymore. I had to know the truth, no matter how much it might hurt. That night, when he came home smelling faintly of a perfume that wasn't mine, I knew my search had to begin. The next day, while he was in the shower, I did something I never thought I would do. I went into his home office. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. I felt like a trespasser in my own home. I wasn't looking for anything specific, just something, a clue. A piece of the puzzle that would either confirm my fears or hopefully put them to rest. His desk was neat as always. Bills, work papers, pens, nothing out of the ordinary. Then I saw it. Tucked under a stack of files was a small leather-bound notebook. It wasn't his usual work planner. This was different. Smaller, more personal. My fingers trembled as I opened it. The first few pages were blank, but then I found it. His familiar handwriting, but the words were not for me. They were love poems. Passionate, detailed, and addressed to someone named Elara. He wrote about her golden hair and eyes like the summer sky. He described secret meetings, stolen kisses, in a connection he claimed he'd never felt before. Every word was a fresh wound. He was living a double life, a whole romantic narrative that didn't include me. He wasn't just working late. He was building a new world with someone else. I read about their dates at the very restaurant Mia had mentioned, their walks in the park we used to frequent, their plans for a future together, a future without me. I felt the air leave my lungs. The man I had loved for 12 years was a stranger. I took pictures of the pages with my phone, my hands shaking so badly the first few were blurry. Proof. I needed proof, not just for a potential divorce, but for my own sanity. I needed to know that I wasn't crazy, that this wasn't all in my head. I closed the notebook, put it back exactly where I found it, and walked out of the room like a ghost. The love I had for him curdled into a cold, hard lump of betrayal in my chest. When he came out of the shower, smiling, and asked what I wanted for breakfast, I could barely look at him. How could he be so normal? How could he stand there, acting like the devoted husband, after writing love poems to another woman? I just mumbled that I wasn't hungry. The mask was on. I had to be strong. I had to figure out my next move. That evening, I confronted him. I sat him down on the couch, the same couch where we cuddled and watched countless movies, and I asked him point blank, "Who is Elara?" The color drained from his face. He tried to deny it at first, the classic "you're being crazy" defense. But then I showed him the photos on my phone, the poems, his words. There was no escaping it. The fight that followed was the ugliest moment of my life. The excuses poured out of him. He felt neglected. We'd grown apart. It just happened. Each excuse was another layer of insult on top of the injury. He wasn't sorry for what he did. He was sorry he got caught. In that moment, I saw him clearly for the first time in a long time. The man I loved was gone, replaced by a coward who couldn't even own up to his own deceit without trying to blame me. Telling this story isn't easy. It's a reminder of the deepest pain I've ever felt. But it's also a story of survival. Discovering the truth, as brutal as it was, set me free. It allowed me to stop doubting myself and start rebuilding my life, a life based on my own truth, not someone else's lies. If you're going through something similar, please know you are not alone and your feelings are valid. Trust your intuition. Seeking truth is the first step toward healing and finding your way back to yourself. Thank you for listening.